Have you ever poured your heart and soul into something, only to be met with a resounding no? It's a feeling that can shake you to your core, leaving you feeling lost and questioning your worth. Today, we're going to explore a story about a man named Tariq and discover what the Qur'an teaches us about one of life's most painful experiences: rejection. Tariq sat in his car, the engine silent, the city lights blurring through the rain-streaked windshield. The rejection letter felt heavy in his hands, each word a hammer blow to the dreams he had so carefully built over the last 5 years. It wasn't just a project. It was his passion, his vision for a community center that would bring people together. He had presented it to the city council with such hope, such conviction, and they had turned him down. Flatly, a wave of bitterness washed over him. Ad Prashed, he had worked tirelessly. He had believed this was his purpose. Why would Allah let this happen? The feeling of being unseen, unheard, and unwanted was overwhelming. His phone buzzed with messages from friends and family, but he couldn't bring himself to reply. He just wanted to be alone with his disappointment. Later that evening, sitting in his quiet apartment, the silence was deafening. He felt a deep spiritual ache, a distance from the very source of strength he usually relied on. Mechanically, he reached for his Qur'an, its familiar weight, a small comfort in his hands. He opened it, not to any particular page, but just letting it fall open. His eyes landed on a verse in Surah Ad-Duha. Your Lord has not forsaken you, nor has he become displeased. The words felt like a gentle hand on his shoulder. He read them again and again. Not forsaken, not displeased. The verse was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, during a time when he too felt a sense of abandonment, a pause in revelation that left him worried and sad. The whispers of his opponents were cruel, claiming his Lord had left him. But this verse was a powerful reassurance. Tariq closed his eyes, imagining the Prophet's own struggle. This was a man beloved by Allah, yet he too experienced moments of profound emotional difficulty. Tariq's thoughts then drifted to one of the most heart-wrenching stories of rejection in the Prophet's life. His journey to After facing immense persecution in Mecca and losing his beloved wife Khadijah and his uncle Abu, the Prophet sought support from the people of Taif. He walked 4 miles, filled with hope that they would listen, that they would accept the message of truth. But what did he receive? Not just rejection, but cruel mockery and physical violence. The leader set the children and foolish ones of the city upon him, pelting him with stones until his feet bled. He was driven out, wounded and heartbroken. In that moment of absolute human rejection, in a garden seeking refuge, he didn't curse them. He didn't despair in Allah's mercy. Instead, he turned to Allah with one of the most beautiful and humble du'as in history. He complained of his weakness and his lowliness in the eyes of people, but affirmed that as long as Allah was not angry with him, he cared for nothing else. Tariq felt a lump form in his throat. His own rejection, as painful as it was, paled in comparison. He had been turned down by a committee in a comfortable office. The Prophet was stoned and chased out of a city. Yet, his first concern was his relationship with Allah. It was a profound shift in perspective. Rejection from people does not, in any way, equate to rejection from God. The success of the Prophet's mission wasn't measured by the acceptance of the people of Taif, but by his unwavering faithfulness to Allah. And what happened after this immense trial? The journey of Isra and Miraj, the night journey and ascension, where he was honored by Allah, like no human has ever been honored. Sometimes, the lowest points of rejection are a prelude to the highest points of elevation. As the night grew deeper, Tariq thought of another prophet who knew rejection on a scale most of us can't even fathom. Prophet Noah. For 950 years, he called his people to worship the one true God. 950 years. Can you imagine the patience, the persistence? He called to them night and day, in public and in private. He reasoned with them, warned them, and pleaded with them. And what was their response? They put their fingers in their ears, covered themselves with their garments, and arrogantly mocked him. They rejected his message, and they rejected him personally. The ultimate pain came when his own son refused to board the ark. choosing to stand with the disbelievers and ultimately perishing in the flood. The Qur'an captures this tragic exchange, a father's heart breaking for his son. Yet, through it all, Prophet Nuh never gave up his faith in Allah's plan. He built the ark amidst the ridicule, trusting in a command that made no sense to the people around him. His story is a powerful lesson in resilience. It teaches us that our duty is to deliver the message, to do the work, to put in the effort with sincerity. The results, the acceptance or rejection by others, are in Allah's hands. Success isn't always about converting the matter. Sometimes, success is simply about staying steadfast on the path for an entire lifetime. Even if only a few follow, Tariq realized his project wasn't just about the final approval. It was about the intention, the effort, and the sincerity he put into it. That effort was not wasted in the sight of Allah. Finally, his mind turned to the beautiful story of Prophet Yusuf, or Joseph. His story begins with rejection of the most personal kind. From his own brothers, consumed by jealousy, they threw him into a well, leaving him for dead. They rejected his very presence in their family. Rescued only to be sold into slavery, his life seemed to be a series of downward spirals. Then came another form of rejection. He resisted the seduction of his master's wife, choosing integrity and fear of Allah over sin. His reward for this righteousness: he was thrown into prison based on false accusations. He was rejected by his brothers, sold like an object, and then unjustly imprisoned for his piety. It seems like a story of utter failure and despair, but the Qur'an calls it the best of stories. Why? Because through every trial, every rejection, Prophet Yusuf held on to his faith. In the darkness of the well and the loneliness of the prison, he never lost his connection with Allah. He knew these were tests, and he knew that Allah was the best of planners. And what was the outcome? From the depths of the prison, Allah raised him to a position of high authority in the land of Egypt. He became the treasurer, the one who would save the nation from famine. The same brothers who rejected him came to him, humbled, seeking his help, not even recognizing him at first. When he finally revealed himself, he didn't respond with bitterness or revenge. He said, "There is no blame upon you today. May Allah forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful." This was the ultimate lesson for Tariq. Rejection, no matter how painful, can be a part of a much larger, divine plan that we cannot see. The well, the slavery, the prison, these were not punishments. They were preparations. They were the very steps that led Yusuf to the place where he could fulfill his ultimate purpose. Allah was shaping him, teaching him, and strengthening him for the great responsibility that lay ahead. Tariq looked at the rejection letter again. The sharp edges of his disappointment had softened. What if this no wasn't a closing door, but a redirection? What if this failure was a necessary preparation for something better, something he couldn't yet imagine? Perhaps Allah was protecting him from something he didn't know. Perhaps there was a better way, a better time, or a better project altogether. The stories of the prophets were not just historical accounts. They were living guidance. They were a divine curriculum on how to handle the inevitable pains of life. They taught that human acceptance is fleeting and unreliable, but Allah's love and approval are eternal. They taught that our worth is not defined by the validation we receive from others, but by our integrity and our submission to God. And they taught that with patience and trust, what looks like a painful rejection today might just be the path to our greatest victory tomorrow. A sense of peace settled over Tariq, a feeling he hadn't felt all day. He got up and went to make wudu, preparing to pray. The bitterness was gone, replaced by a renewed sense of hope and trust. He didn't have the answers yet, and he didn't know what the future held, but he knew he wasn't alone in his struggle. He was walking a path trodden by the best of humanity. He would entrust his affairs to Allah, the best of planners, and he would try again, not with desperation, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that true acceptance comes only from Him. Thank you for joining me on this reflection. If you're going through a period of rejection, remember these stories and take heart. You are not forsaken. Be patient, trust in the plan, and keep turning to the source of all strength. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that nourishes the soul. Until next time.